G'day off trackers, welcome back to another product review. This week I want to give a big shout out and big thanks to Super Cheap Auto, who has supplied this Renogy gear along with some other Renogy gear for me to test and let you guys know what I think about it. So good on Super Cheap Auto for doing that. Honestly, they've given me complete free reign to rip into it if I think it's rubbish or if it's good, to let you guys know. So good on Super Cheap. And this week we're looking at, Ash,
a battery. Duh.
So we're looking at the new Renogy, which you guys probably have heard a fair bit about Renogy. So this is the Pro Lite. This looks like it's exclusive to Super Cheap Auto only, the Pro Lite version. So we'll be running through this and we're going to look at the stats. I've also filmed some testing of the capacity, which I'll chuck up for you guys. And I'll go through the good and the bad and then give you my honest thoughts on it. So without any further ado, Ash, what are we going to do?
Talk about it?
We're going to get into it. Okay, into the specs, let's get it. What are you looking over there for, Ash? You're hearing thunder.
Thunder.
Hopefully we don't get rained on. That's normally pretty common with 12 volt stuff here. Okay, into the specs. So the price, phenomenal. 349 bucks. Really, really hot price. 349 from Super Cheap. You still get a 5-year warranty with it, which is phenomenal. The battery type is a lithium iron phosphate. Cycle life, really good. So you get 5,000 cycles at 80%. So you can't use 100% of the battery, you can only use that 80%. So Ash, what's 80% of 100?
80.
Yeah, so you're only getting an 80 amp hour battery. In saying that, majority of your batteries out there are only 80% capacity. Your battery management system, your BMS, is 100 amp hours. So that's 100 amp of discharging, 100 amp of charging. It'll give you a 300 amp for 10 seconds is the max peak that it can put out. It's IP65 rated, so fully sealed dust. It can go underneath your caravan, no problem. And then the charging temperature is from 0 degrees to 55 degrees. So Queensland climate, ready to go, no problems. And then the discharging temperature, what you can actually use it in, is -20 to +60. So again, no problems using this up in the NT in Queensland, which is where a lot of these batteries sort of fail. They actually don't come specified for the northern parts of Queensland climate. And a really interesting one, so you can have 4 in parallel and 8 in series. The 8's phenomenal. There's not many that let you do 8 in series. So that's the specs for you. As you can see, that's actually not a bad battery on the specs. Next I'm going to do is I'll chuck up the testing that I've done on it. So I did a capacity test just to make sure there actually is 100 amp hours in there, so stay tuned to see that. And I wanted to do a maximum discharging test, but I'll get into the bad why I wasn't able to do that. And then the maximum charging, unfortunately I've got no way to put 100 amps into this, so I couldn't test the maximum charging. So you have to have a hell of a lot of solar or a really big bloody AC charger, where I've only got a 22 amp AC charger. So I couldn't test that one for you, sorry guys. But let's get into the capacity test for you. Okay, set up for capacity test number 1. As you can see, we have 100% on the screen there. And it's all been calibrated to this battery, and the charger is now showing full. So the battery is 100% full to capacity. So we will disconnect the charger, turn on the inverter, give it a second to kick over, and then we can turn on the hairdryer. Watts, 600 watts. So there we go, we'll probably run it on that setting on the hairdryer, and it's saying, as you can see, it's going to take about an hour to run it flat, so hopefully I don't burn the hairdryer out. I might have to get some other appliances to try and drown this, but I'll check back in with you guys as it gets closer to 0. So if this doesn't hit 0 before the battery cuts off, that means that it doesn't actually have 100 amps in it. And if we still have the hairdryer going and this is below 0, then it means it actually has more amps than 100 amps in it. So that's what we're hoping for. And then we'll do the reverse. We'll charge it back up and see how many amps it'll actually take back into it. So I'll check in with you guys when we get closer. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys recording just in case it cuts out. Let's check the terminals. Still nice and cold. Still nice and cold. Battery. Still nice and cold. No heat anywhere. Nope. No heat on the bottom. Nah, no heat on the bottom. So battery's going really good. I can't believe the hairdryer's stayed running. 4%, so I'll just leave you there and I'll speed it up and we'll see if it makes it past 0. So, as you guys can see there, 0%, and it's still pulling 227 amps, 227 watts. So that's the capacity test passed. This battery is at least, well, it's actually bigger than 100 amps. So capacity test passed. I'll now charge it up and make sure while I'm charging it, it goes over 100 as well. Thankfully, I won't have to sit in here to do that one, as I've actually had to sit here for that whole hour just in case it shut off early. Okay, I'll check in with you once it's charged again. See you guys. Okay, charging capacity test. So as you can see, we're now sitting on 100% and 100 amp hours, and it's still going up in charge, meaning that there is more than 100 amp hours in this battery. So charging capacity test and discharging capacity test is a pass. Okay, into the good things. So number one has to be the price. That's a ridiculous price for an entry-level battery. The build quality looks phenomenal. I'm happy with the build quality. The specs, as I mentioned, really good. Your charging and discharging temps are really good. Your 100 amps is really good. Yeah, if you're wanting a small battery, it's actually not a bad battery. There's a lot of things to sort of like about it. And yeah, that's sort of all I've got for the likes. It is just a battery, so there's sort of not much more to say about it. Let's get into the bad.
No! God, please, no! No!
Okay, so number one, first thing I want to touch on, but good on them for actually giving this. I did go through the instruction book to get the safety features, which not many companies actually give you the... So it's the discharge overcurrent. Not many actually tell you what the BMS will protect to, but this one's set at 550 amps. So as you would have seen in the specs, I said it can only pull 100 amps with 300 as a maximum for 10 seconds. So to me, the cutoff should be maybe 310, and the BMS should then protect from overload. Unfortunately, this is going to let you pull 550, which will probably melt the terminals and will destroy the whole inside of the battery. As I said, good on them for actually disclosing what it's set at, but that's definitely one I would like to see changed and improved, because yeah, that's not very good. You don't want to be over pulling from a 100 amp hour battery. The only other bad thing I have to say about it is no Bluetooth, where you guys know that I'm really big on Bluetooth, but it's an entry level battery. You're not paying $500, so you shouldn't expect to get Bluetooth. Other than that, honestly, I haven't found a lot to not like about it. I actually think it's a pretty good battery. Let's get into the wrap up of my thoughts, Ash.
I am thinking here.
So I'm guessing this is going to be no surprise. If you're looking for an entry-level battery, then I reckon this isn't a bad buy. Super cheap auto, nice and convenient. If you have any problems, you can take it back to any super cheap. And yeah, it's just, honestly, it's nice and light, it's small, it's built well. The only thing is really, if you want to not have Bluetooth, then yeah, it's a good battery. And as I touched on, that safety feature is the only downside that I've been able to find with it. So these really aren't a bad product. And Renogy, as we're all starting to learn about now, is a really big, really good company. So super cheap. I think you're onto a winner here. And you guys, yeah, honestly, if you're after a super cheap battery, super cheap from super cheap. Not a bad one to look at. So until next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Follow me on Instagram. And until next time, see ya.